Hi, I'm Maloni Bhatt. Most of us in India want to go abroad to study, especially pursue a master's degree. It's an allure, isn't it? To experience what it is to live in a foreign country, experience a different culture, and to get your real first taste of freedom, and of course, with a tremendous responsibility. Now, some of us actually do manage to go and get that fabled degree abroad, and some of us even manage to snag a job. Now, I have with me a group of students who are studying or have studied abroad and are even working full time in a foreign country. What's their experience? Let's find out. So, first with us, we have Manikanta Mandlem. He's pursuing a master's degree in computer engineering from Northwestern University. He has a BTech in electrical engineering from IIT Gandhinagar. Welcome, Manikanta.
Thank you, Maloni.
Next, we have with us Shreya-Agarwal. She's a technical product manager at eBay. She has a master's degree in management science and engineering from Columbia University in New York. She is an alumnus of IIT Madras with a BTech in chemical engineering. Good to have you with us here, Shreya.
Thank you, Maloni. Happy to be here.
And finally, we have with us Mayank Kumar, who's pursuing a master's degree in management from ESCP Business School, and he was, until recently, in the Madrid campus, having already been to the Paris campus. He has a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from BITS Pilani. Hello, Mayank.
Hi, Maloni. Thank you for having us.
Well, welcome everyone, and it's very good to have you all on ET Campus Stars. And as you may be aware, that this is the 5th edition of ET Campus Stars, where we don't just search for the best engineering student talent, but we also have a selection of masterclasses with top industry experts and deep insights from CEOs, CTOs, and career coaches to help you shape your career. But now let's get back to our small group of people, and we're going to chat with them about their experience of studying abroad. Now, Shreya and Manikanta, the first question is to the two of you. Now, both of you chose the US to study. Both of you have BTechs from IIT. So is the US the dream destination job-wise or study-wise for everyone who gets into an IIT?
I think the most important reason is the visa policies, which are amenable for students and, consequently for work. I think that's the most important thing. Here, when you come on the student visa, you have the opportunity, especially when you come within a STEM degree. So STEM could be, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. That's what comes under it. I think it's management. Maybe I'm wrong over there. But basically, if you come within a STEM degree, you can extend your visa for 3 years after and work here. So irrespective of the H-1B visa, which is difficult to procure, you get an opportunity to use your master's degree and work for 3 years. So that's the main reason that it is a dream destination. And also that, you have more Indians here. So there is precedence, you have more alumni here. So I think that's the one to begin with. That's my answer.
Other points as well influenced me to come to US. One is that being, English is one of the official languages, if I'm not wrong, in India. So coming here into US, it's easy to live here when compared to any European destination because the language barrier is not so great. Right. So so we have been speaking in English since our childhood. So it's not difficult to interact with others in other citizens in the United States. Other reason, it's kind of in similar lines to what Shreya said. One of my reasons that I've chosen United States over other destinations is that most of my professors who did their PhDs they did their PhDs from US universities. So we kind of got in. I'm not sure about everyone, but I'm personally myself and some of my friends got influenced from our professors and their degrees. That's another reason.
So that's great. I think all of us look up to our teachers, and it's very natural to be influenced by professors. But tell us, Manikanta, why did you choose the college that you did?
So I've applied to like 7 to 8 universities, out of which I got an admission into 2. One is Northwestern, which is in Evanston. Other one is University of Pennsylvania. The reason that I've chosen Northwestern is again, there are multiple reasons. One first reason I could say is the ranking. Northwestern's university's overall ranking is great, and also computer science department is good here. Um, and then they have a quarter system here, not a semester or trimester system. So basically, each quarter is of 10 weeks, 10 to 11 weeks, and then the courses happen here at a fast pace. So we'll have an opportunity to learn more in less time. So basically, we can complete our master's degree in 12 months, effectively 12 months, be it 12 months spread across 15 months or 18 months. So in my case, basically, I'm doing an internship right now, so I'll have a gap of 3 months in between. So in my case, it's 15 months. So that is another reason, opportunity cost of time, right? And then it's a private university. It's a very well-known university.
All right. Shreya, what about you? Why did you choose Columbia?
For me, I had applied to a couple of places. I applied to 6 places. I got admitted in 5 of them, and Columbia was my top priority. And Columbia was my top priority due to a couple of reasons. One being my degree was in management science and engineering. So it's a bit of a, I would say, an interdisciplinary program, and you can shape it how you want. And I was very sure I wanted to get into the management side. I wanted to get into product management. So New York as a city, there were a lot of opportunities. It's very important that way. You can go out, you can network, you can go to conferences, you can meet, have coffee chats with people on LinkedIn. There's a lot of networking needed to be able to get a job offer in this kind of domain, especially because I came without experience. So I felt like being in a city like New York would give me, an extra advantage, an edge to pursue these things, to be able to, get my kick off my career in product management. So I think New York City just played a huge factor. And then Columbia again was an Ivy League. The engineering program is reputed there, and my program was also partially with the business school, and Columbia Business School is also reputed. So I think all of those things put together, out of the other options, I had been admitted to Dartmouth and Duke, which are also great programs, and Cornell. The business school in Columbia stood out for me. So that's why I went ahead with Columbia University.
You said that, there was, one of the reasons for you primarily was this opportunity to network, or the possibility of networking. Did you use a lot of that opportunity?
I would say so, because half of my master's was during the pandemic. So definitely a lot of it was constrained to being virtually. But by the virtue of the fact that it's New York City, you have a lot of employers, you have a lot of activities, informal activities. So you have employers coming down to the campus, but you also have a lot of informal activities. You have a lot of alumni living around, because most of them are working in New York. So you get a lot of those networking events. Definitely, yes, did pursue networking opportunities, not as much as I would have liked to, partially because of the pandemic.
Okay, all right. Mayank, to you now, why ESCP?
Well, definitely. So I guess how the global order is, it's for education is typically US or the rest of the world. So for me, it was not US primarily because I didn't, from the kind of, I spoke with a lot of alums and my own colleague, my batchmates. I felt that I aligned more with the European education system, I would say. So I chose that. And since, to answer my next question about ESCP, well, I was looking for more exposure, I would say. And that's how the multi-campus thing fit bang on right where I wanted it to be. And with this, I guess there are a lot of opportunities, to get into an international crowd and meet people from different cultures in different surroundings, in different settings. And I guess that is what I was looking for into an education program, along with the flexibility to be able to flaunt all of this like I did. So
Okay. Now the next question. I think most of these questions are for all of you. So do chime in when you think you want to. So what are the top 3 things that all of you love about your campus life and your institute? And what are the 3 things that you find really, really tough? Things that you might have underestimated while you were back home planning your entire journey.
The campus life, the best part about the campuses is all of them are in European capitals, most of them at least, except the Italian campus. And when I compare it to other European colleges, they generally are a lot away. So I love it. I did want to experience the city. I already had a very good hostel life back in Spilani. So, well, I was already content there. And the second point would be the sheer diversity that I got around me. And with every semester, there's a switch of the kind of people you meet, because every semester it's a different peer group altogether. So I guess that sort of always kept me on my toes, helped me evolve. And I believe that, yeah, I traveled a lot because of this. I didn't do that on my own in general. I did do it because of circumstances. So that was a plus point of the campuses, I would say. And what the toughest thing that was to, at the same time, it comes with a list of cons as well, right? So moving every 3 months, it was difficult. And I didn't anticipate this a lot because I come from an army background. We move every 2 to 3 years. So I was borderline overconfident that, yeah, I'll manage it very well. But 3 months is difficult even for me, I guess. So
I think the positives were just, again, I agree with Mayank on that. Different cultures. Of course, he's moving every semester, but Columbia is a great university in terms of having different diverse people there. And specifically in my campus, as I said, my program was also interacting with business school students and engineering students. So even though I had a lot of Asians and Indians in my own program, I did multiple courses across. So there was flexibility and I could really get exposed to different, different type of courses, different streams, very different from what I had done in my engineering. And that's what, again, campus life is in the middle of the city. So definitely getting to explore New York City. I mean, I would not say that I traveled as much as I wanted to, again, because of the pandemic. So yes, definitely being in the city is a totally different thing. Experience New York City while you're a student, that's a totally different thing. So all of those are pros. But coming to the cons, I think just living away from, your home, your family is entirely difficult. And New York City especially is very expensive also. So so when you come anyway to the US or Europe, anywhere things are more expensive. You're converting the dollar to the rupee and so on. But the rent prices, everything is expensive. So you're used to living away from home, but you're like virtually in different time zones. You're spending so much. So there's a lot of stress along with landing that job opportunity. So I think the thing which I underestimated was that I'm prepared that I'm going to go do this networking, do these applications, do these courses and get the job. But there's a lot of underlying emotional stress as well, which nobody can prepare you for. You just go there and figure it out. And there's a lot of learning in that as well.
Yeah, sure. 3 things that I mean, there are a lot of things, but top 3 things I would say that I like about Northwestern, being a student at Northwestern. One is campus, one of the beautiful campuses that I've ever seen. So it's side by the Lake Michigan. So very wonderful. So every day, almost all days these days, in summer, I go to the lakeside and sit there and work, and it feels so peaceful. Apart from that, being in Evanston, it's like being in suburb as well as very close by to city. So it's like 45 minutes drive from here to Chicago downtown. So it's a very peaceful place to live in. Oh, and also the quarter system, as I said, I like it a lot because it's very fast paced. You'll learn things quickly. Um, and also the third thing I would say is basically um, the department here, I would say the computer science department, except for some minor things. I like the department here, the courses they offer, the technical expertise the professors have. Also, the things that I don't like is personal, management, I would say. I don't know if I'm spelling, like if I'm putting this word correctly. So you have to manage yourself. You have to cook your own food. You have to clean your own clothes. That's kind of, little daunting sometimes.
Yeah.
Shreya agrees. So yeah,
No, I
it's daunting
definitely
for
agree, because
everyone.
that's the part of the emotional stress I'm talking about, right? You know
Yeah,
that you have to
yeah,
do these things on your own when you come to the US, but actually doing them and at the same time studying. In India, we are used to doing all of the studying and networking and applying for jobs, hanging out with friends, everything, but we don't care about the food and everything. In hostel, everything is taken care of. Whereas in the
yeah.
US, you have to do everything on your own. And it's very vital that your food, your basic things are managed. Otherwise, you cannot focus on your work, which is
Yeah.
most important. So that creating that balance takes some time. I'm sure everyone's experienced that, whoever's lived abroad.
Yeah, true.
Okay. Shreya, you touched upon money, right? So can you give us some tips, all of you, on how y'all managed your finance?
Again, I think finance is a very specific thing to everyone, right? What kind of
Yeah.
economic background you're coming from and so on. I would say that I would definitely acknowledge that I had privilege. My parents could afford to send me there. So definitely that is one thing, right? Where there's the tuition fees and so on. In terms of managing finances, my personal finances when I went there, I really wanted to be able to do some jobs and support myself. So the for I and there are a lot of student job opportunities, people say, in the US, but when you come here, you come to know what is it that you can do within the constraints of your own visa, right?
Hmm.
And also, I was here for my program was for 3 semesters, so I figured out, okay, there is something called tutoring, which is on an hourly basis. I had TA or course assistant opportunities where I could be paid a lump sum amount. But then all of that is, if you have done a course, then you can do it in the next semester. So I think for me that was important. I wanted to have something to support myself and feel like, not too stressed when I'm going and spending on basic things, and be able to manage that. I wanted to make sure I could get my living expenses out, and that was my personal choice. So I did
So
sort of.
you managed to work while studying?
Yeah, but these are like in US, in your visa, you can do only part-time, 20 hours of work while
Right.
you're working as a student, while you're a student.
Students, right.
So you can be paid only 20 hours, and you need to find something which fits your schedule also, right? Again, that's something. You have a very hectic schedule. So that's why initially I took up tutoring, which I personally enjoyed, not teaching, tutoring undergrad students with math or physics or economics even, because I had done some economics, but I managed to tutor them on that. And that was at my will. So I could do 2 3 4 hours in a week and manage my time around it. So that way I did the some amount of supporting my personal expenses. And otherwise I would say there are a lot of scholarship opportunities within your university, and also a lot of other public and private opportunities for masters or students going abroad from India. But all of them have different constraints. So I also applied to a lot of them, did not get anything, but there are a lot of opportunities out there. So definitely people going abroad should spend some time exploring them.
Okay. Okay. So, Mayank, any tips on
Yeah.
managing money,
Yeah.
stretching the euro, taking advantage of your student ID card? I mean, I don't know how many people know,
Yeah.
but, student ID card enables one to get a
Yes.
lot of discounts.
I guess in Europe that's true. I don't know with the US, but I'll reiterate on that. So, like Shreya just mentioned, there are a lot of scholarships, and I was privileged enough to get quite a generous scholarship from the French government. So that pulled a lot of pain from my life, and plus in Europe generally life is a little bit easier for students when it comes to spending. So a lot of benefits came with the card, but at the same time it's still
It's
costly, I
still
would say.
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, given the format of my college, I always had expensive accommodation. I always had to travel. And I really cannot look for jobs for 3 months because one gets a semblance of home in a month or a month and a half, and then you're like, okay, I have to move next semester, and I need to search for accommodation for the next semester in the next city sitting here. So well, that made it a little difficult. But I guess what could be, at least in my case and in my university, what could be made easier is, you need to network a lot, not just for jobs, but for houses as well. It was harsh, but it's true. Uh, and yeah, and we really need to plan stuff out beforehand. I saw a lot of batchmates who did things at the last moment, and it comes out to be really expensive. So don't want to
So
do that.
planning is the key. That is the hack.
Yeah.
Planning is the hack, is it?
You
Okay.
need to hustle. Yeah, you need to
You
hustle a lot.
need to
Yes.
hustle. Okay.
Yeah.
Manikanta, did you have to hustle?
Kind of, yes. So my points again will be in similar lines with Shreya, because similar backgrounds. So I would say, if somebody is coming to pursue masters, once he's confirmed, he has got his confirmed visa and everything, he should try looking for campus jobs, which is comfortable for him or her to do. So and again, the campus job should not be in such a way that it should not hinder one's education time. It should be a complementary thing to what he want to do. Like they're going US to get education, right? So that should be the primary primary thing. And apart from that, to support ourselves, campus job, student job helps a lot.
Definitely.
Here, let me just tell another point here. So spending $500-$600 a month, it's like the normal thing, even for a 1 BHK, 1 bedroom in a big villa, you have to spend $600 in advance still. But if you get that, if you ask $600 from your family from India, it translates to how much? 45,000 rupees. 45,000 rupees is like, average person's monthly income, right? I don't know. I feel that it's a very big financial burden for families in India if you get money from them.
So it's good, you're saying, to supplement it by doing whatever work that you can, but just that it should not come in the way of your studies.
Yes, that's what I want to say.
Okay, so I have a couple of things listed down here, and I want you all to tell me. So Manikanta, maybe you can begin. Okay. What was the toughest for you? So I have these things. Okay, so visa processes, finances, accommodation, managing expenses, working part-time, or navigating a different culture. What was the hardest?
Yeah, sure. So when it comes to Chicago, winter is the worst thing ever to experience. The worst temperature I've experienced in winter, the last winter, was minus 20 degrees centigrade. So you don't get a lot of opportunities to go out and meet people. You are bound to sit in home, and then stay warm. That there I kind of missed the the networking part, and one should get habituated to that if one plans to live in Chicago. That's how it runs here. It's 3 or 4 months winter is very difficult to get out frequently or meet people. This could be one of the examples to getting accustomed to the culture.
I agree with Manikanta. It's, for me, definitely the navigating the culture, and navigating the culture in multiple ways. The way the education system is structured here is very different. Specifically, my program also was a management base, so it is completely out of theory. You do the theory, but the focus is on practical, a lot of projects. Your grades are based on how you interact with other people. So it is a totally different skill you're inculcating, and we have not been exposed to that in India. At least things are changing now. I see the education system changing one by one, but at least my experience in undergrad, you're very focused on your theory, especially engineering studies, and there's less of the group projects and those kind of things. So the education system is different. you have a more culture, you have a stronger culture, especially come from IITs and BITS. We have companies coming to our campuses, right, for placements. So we are very privileged and spoiled for choice there. You put in your application and you get couple of interviews and you are able to land one of those jobs. Whereas in the US, getting your resume in to get an interview is the biggest challenge for an international student. Once you get an interview, okay, then you prepare for the interview and you crack it. But to get your resume in there in jobs which you actually want, it's very difficult. Difficult in a sense, it's a new territory to navigate. You, again, as I said, you have to network, you have to reach out to alumni. There is a students, your jobs board to your program and so on, but that's limited. You have so many students eyeing for the same opportunities, and as this international student, you are at a slight disadvantage. Not all companies take international students only because of visa issues, visa constraints, not because you are less talented or anything of that sort. So you have to work extra hard to land the same opportunity. Next thing is, if you're a master's student, people have generally, the undergrad people here are used to that culture of networking. They have that time. You are thrown into it immediately. Immediately as you come, you have to start looking for internships. And you don't really have anything on your resume, especially like if you come without work experience, which most of us do when we come from masters. Even if you have 1 year of experience, it's not that highly regarded or considered when you come for masters. So that whole culture, I think, is the most difficult part. Of course, the cold, and that could be different places. Even New York was quite cold, but nothing compared to Chicago. So I would not say that was a big difficulty. But I think the just work culture and how people work and learn here is very different. So wrapping your head around it and assimilating yourself in it takes some time. And that is very daunting.
Do come from a place of privilege in such colleges, we are borderline spoon-fed, I guess, with placement comms, and it's life is easy. I think that nobody would want to move out there completely, right? But while this pushes us to network, at the same time, it pushes us to be more confident and move out of our comfort zones. So realizing that was the toughest, I would say. Once you have that realization dawn and sink in, I guess then you can take the steps to mediate it. But yeah, that's definitely difficult when you have others eyeing the same jobs who are from the same country. That that will not stress on that a lot. I feel that from it's quite obvious. I
The
guess
accommodation,
that,
is it?
Yes. The movement.
But that's just because of your particular program or particular campus. I think that is one of the reasons.
Yes, and I chose that.
You chose it. Would you recommend that, would you recommend study abroad to everyone then? Who is it not for?
What I generally tell people is coming abroad to study is definitely a good idea, because even if you want to move back to India, right, there are a lot of opportunities in India. Okay, so all right, so I believe that the exposure is certainly something which does add a lot intangibly. One may not feel it in a span of a month or two. And it's certainly different from working abroad. Studying is particularly different from working abroad, that's what I felt. So I do recommend it, but at the same time, with a pinch of caution, because I feel that whenever you come out abroad, I think that even if you take up a loan or something, you need to have a certain financial cushion, I believe, because it makes life a bit more difficult in terms of navigating opportunities. And at times people are forced to take jobs which may be a tad bit more high paying, but at the same time may not translate into the career they might be looking for, and probably because of which they came in the first place outside India. So I think that is what I would say about.
Okay. Shreya, a lot of parents may hesitate to send a girl abroad to study.
I would say there's, especially when you come abroad, there's no difference between sending a girl or a boy abroad, because it's the same. You're sending your kid abroad, right? I mean, parents in India should be willing to spend the same amount of money and invest their, have that trust on the girl as same as they would have on the boy, right? Eventually, as Mayank said, you're coming here for exposure and growth. And that you get when you come as a student and you build your career here and then translate into doing a job. So that exposure is what most of us are coming to the US for. A lot of us would go back US or Europe or wherever, go back to India. So why, have that question whether it's a girl or a boy? It's the same thing. In terms of safety and security, I think it's the same for girls and boys. I mean, there's no such difference, especially like if you consider US and the current scenario of gun laws. I mean, really, it's the same. So I don't think this question should arise at all. I think the mindset comes in, oh, do you want, like, whether they're willing to invest that much money and, that hassle of sending a kid abroad in a girl. But why not? You're sending a girl to a good bachelor's college and you're making them study there, then why not send them abroad if they want to? So I don't think it should be a question anymore. It should be a decision which the kid wants to make, whether the child wants to go abroad or not. And if they do, then you should try your best to send them. And they should try their best to get the best applications and best colleges, irrespective of them being a girl or a boy.
All right. Okay. So now when you'll miss home, you'll all said that navigating culture, realizing that being away from home is really tough. So what did you guys do when you missed home? When you missed your mother's food, you missed the festivals, just missed the familiarity of things. How did you all cope and how did you all manage?
I miss the ability to go back home whenever I wanted to,
Yes.
that freedom that you can book a flight and be there. Although it's a tad bit ironic because my frequency of visiting home is rather the same. I used to go home in a year, but that freedom to go whenever you want to, I guess I miss that a lot. And apart from that, apart from the festivals, missing home and everything, the familiarity, there's another thing that I feel is that life is much more comfortable back in India. Like we already spoke about that, right? Doing stuff on our own and everything. And I guess life is much more convenient in India that ways.
Or definitely will miss homes, but then that's a choice that we have made, right? So we should be ready for that. We should face it and we should tackle with it. That's what I would say. Apart from that, if you try to do things whatever you do back at home, then I think the missing feeling will reduce. Like I generally celebrate festivals with my friends, Indian friends, or if some other friends want to join, we hang out together, we talk, we like
Cook.
yeah cook Indian food especially. So you should make a family away from home. So that's how
That's
you
well
can
said.
tackle
That's
it.
very well said. Yes.
That's how
Okay.
you can tackle with things.
True.
All right. Okay. So, now this is my last set of questions to all of you. How has living abroad changed your outlook on things and life in general?
So one important thing that I would say is basically I was not very much being an Indian teenager. I was not very much accustomed to talking to the opposite gender people. That's one thing that I've improved a lot after coming here. And in current scenario, it's important to talk to everyone. Be it your gender, be it the other gender as well, opposite gender as well. One thing is that, and then my cooking skills improved a lot.
Okay.
Drastically, yeah. And then time management, another thing, it improved a lot. Confidence that I can live in any kind of situation anywhere.
Definitely, more than skills or hobbies, again, you start valuing those conveniences which you have in India. So definitely start valuing your family, all the help which you have in India, all of those things. You learn to become a more independent person. Actually, in short, you just become an independent person and a self-sufficient person. And you can be placed in any forest or village or big city without anything, and you'll figure out a way. You just learn to figure out your life and be good at constantly changing situations, especially in the pandemic. My personal situation, I had to pack my entire house and take an international flight in 5 hours. And if I was in India, it would have been a much easier situation if I had to rush back home during the COVID pandemic, because India was closing down. This is during when the lockdown happened. So such situations, as Mayank said, you are not a flight away or like 2 hours away or 3 hours away. You are 20 hours flight away from, India. So you have to make decisions in a much more stressful and much more difficult manner.
Environment.
So you just get better at decision making, and like I think 5 years worth of experience compressed in 1 year, you face that many different type of situations. So you just learn faster.
Well, I would like to add something else. So amongst many things in my outlook, I generally talk about this a lot, and at the risk of being vague, I would say it. The shift in my attitude at large, I believe, because in India, or I don't know, maybe it's just me, we tend to do things a tad bit too fast. Life is pretty fast in general. And I guess this might be true for the US as well, if I'm not mistaken. Life is very fast. But in Europe, people tend to appreciate mental space, take time for things, and appreciate the slow pace of most things, even in a professional background. So I've learned to take things slow and do them well, rather than hurrying through them, and rushing through all of them. So yeah, I guess that would be the biggest takeaway.
Okay, all right. So now this is my final question to all of you. Having experienced both worlds, so to speak, and multiple worlds as far as Mayank is concerned, where do you see your future and why?
So even before going to my master's, I was quite certain. Another reason that I wanted to go to Europe, I was pretty certain that I wanted to come back to India. And I see the reason why, because I am very much my professional career, where I see it heading. I think India is booming there, the startup space to be precise. And I believe that at the pace at which we are growing, I would have a lot more opportunities being an Indian citizen in India, rather than RP holder in some, I don't know, Germany, France, Spain, whatever, right?
Okay.
I personally believe that my future is much brighter back in India rather than staying in United States. That I think that's what it is. Right?
Yeah, definitely see myself coming back to India. And this is something which I had in my mind even when I came here. You have the best opportunities for yourself in India. What you can take back from here is different experience, different cultural experiences, different professional experiences, and take that as an edge and go back to India, right? If you are going to be like, when you come, if you want to come here and settle, then you are not coming here just for your education or work. You're coming because I have talked to a lot of friends and colleagues who are from India and want to settle here. And I see that it is because maybe they come from a background where they do not like to be in India. No. So if generally people who have some maybe family or background or something like that, when they are coming to US to settle, it's a different mentality. Whereas most of us, I think, come here to take the skills back and apply it in India, and India is booming. So settling here is a different thing. Again, US now, it's a huge time, period to get that green card and citizenship. Initially, it used to be much easier, a couple of years. Now it's almost a 10 to 12 year process. So it's actually much harder, and you're very constrained by the jobs you want to do, jobs you can do. In India, I can probably take some time very confidently off and be like, I'm going to work with 2 different startups, do part-time work. I can do all of that in India without even at the risk of being deported or anything. So yes, it's much more safe, much more growth in India for the long term. But I would say that coming to abroad and staying, based on all of our experiences, like a finishing school, for you to just be be able to deal with any professional and personal challenges in life. So great exposure, great opportunity. And I think whoever is able to get a dream college or good college, you should go for it, for sure.
All right. Shreya-Agarwal, you summed it up wonderfully for us. Manikanta Mandlem and Mayank Kumar, thanks so very much for being part of this chat, this special discussion. I hope that all those people who are watching, will take leaves out of your books and your experiences. And as Shreya has said, get that opportunity. If they get that opportunity, embrace it and, explore the world that is before them. I want to give a special thanks to Auxilo, who's our education loan partner for ET Campus Stars. But all of you, thank you so very much for your time and for joining me today.
Thank you for having
Our
us.
pleasure.
Thank you so
for
much for having us.